Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. This channel offers elementary art lessons taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I look forward to virtually creating with you. There are new lessons posted weekly. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss a single one. So go grab your art supplies and your thinking caps and let's begin. Welcome back, third grade artists. All right, so let's get out those cardinals that we had not finished from before. And I'm going to be using some red tempera paint to get started today. You can use acrylic paint, whatever you have at home. And if you don't have paint, a crayon or a colored pencil or a marker will do just fine as well. So I'm going to start by painting inside of the lines. I'm painting my entire cardinal red, except for the little space around his eye. That's going to be black. And then his beak, I'm going to save that and use a crayon later because his beak is more of an orangey red. So I'm just going to use a red-orange crayon to color his beak in a little while here. So first I'm going to start off by painting the whole cardinal red. All right, as soon as that's done, I'm not even going to rinse out my paintbrush. I'm just going to brush it a little bit on the newspaper that I have here to get off some of the red that's left in the bristles. But red is part of brown, and I'm going to be painting brown next. So instead of getting my paintbrush all wet, I'm just going to brush off that red paint, and I'm going to go ahead and dip right into my brown tempera paint, and I'm going to paint all of the branches of the tree. Now I'm going to make do with the brush that I have, which is kind of a bigger paintbrush. Some of the branches I have are a little bit smaller. I probably should have gone and gotten a smaller paintbrush to fit in some of those branches better, but I just was slow and careful, and I just made do with the paintbrush that I have. So if you have different paintbrush sizes, you might want to get those out and use them to paint the different branches. And again, no paint, no problem. You can use crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever you have available to you. It'll look just great as well. Now, being careful of the wet paint that's on my paper, I'm going to go ahead and grab my red-orange crayon and go ahead and color his beak. And then you can use a black crayon or a black Sharpie to color in his eye and the black space around his eye. Now, since they're both black, this is a little bit tricky, so I tried to save a little bit of white space on the eye, almost like it was a highlight or like the light shining off of his eye, just so that his eye didn't get totally lost in the black feathers that surround his face. Okay, so putting that Sharpie away, I'm going to switch gears here a little bit, and I'm going to switch to that white paint that you see sitting there on the left side of my screen. And I'm going to be using a smaller paintbrush than I had before, one that's nice and clean as well. And I'm going to be doing a flicking technique. Now, flicking paint probably isn't your family's most favorite thing for you to do at home. So we're going to do it in a controlled way where we make sure that the paint that we flick ends up on our paper or the newspaper around our paper. It shouldn't be ending up on the floor or the wall or your dog or anywhere else. The paint should be flicking in the right direction. So let me show you how I do it to make sure that the paint flicks in the right direction. Okay, so first of all, this part at the top here are called the bristles. I'm going to take the bristles and I'm going to act like I'm painting my fingernail. Now, right now I'm not using any paint, but I'm about to show you what it looks like when I use paint. Okay, so I'm taking those bristles, getting some paint on them, and it looks like I'm painting my fingernail. But really what's happening is I'm letting the bristles kind of fall off of the edge of my fingernail, which then makes the paint splash or flick onto my paper. And that, in turn, makes it look like snow falling in front of my little cardinal. Now, if I were you, I might practice this technique on my newspaper first. So move your painting out of the way and just practice on your newspaper a couple of times until you get the hang of it. But then once you get the hang of it, bring your cardinal back in, your painting back in, and start flicking the paint to make it look like it's snowing across your picture. Okay, As soon as you're done with that, you're going to use that same paintbrush and you're going to add some snow that is sitting on the branches. Now, most likely there won't be any snow gathered on your cardinal because he's warm-blooded and when the snow hits him, it's going to melt. But on these cold winter branches in this tree, there's a good chance that some snow might have gathered on them. So I'm using my paintbrush kind of in a tapping motion to make it look like little piles of snow on the top edge of as many of the branches as you want. I'm probably going to do the top edge of most of my branches, and I want it to look like there's lots of cold, wintry snow on them. Well, there you have it, artists. You have a nice, beautiful, finished red cardinal sitting on a branch in the winter. Now, what you're looking at here are two examples of a finished work of art. The one on the right is the one that we just finished together. That bird is beautiful and finished and can be totally done unless you want one little extra challenge. So if you do want one little extra challenge, you can grab your Sharpie or a black crayon or colored pencil and you can add some texture to the bird and the tree branches. To do that, I just quickly, with like a quick flick of the wrist, made lots of little lines over my bird's tummy and wing and tail feather, making it look feathery and light. And I also used some longer sort of curved lines to make the tree trunk and the branches look like they had bark on them. So you're welcome to add those pieces of texture if you would like to, or you can leave it just as it is and let your finished bird painting dry and have a beautiful work of art to hang up at your house. All right, so I hope you have a great rest of your day. I really hope you finish this, and remember, you don't have to use paint. You can use crayons, colored pencils, markers, anything that you have will work just as well, and I can't wait to see it on Art Sonia. All right, I'll see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking. HOB artists, don't forget to hop on over to Art Sonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.